Senator Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General, it's now been over 2 years since the U.S. and the ROK forces have engaged in a large-scale joint field exercise. I participated in the joint exercise that was formerly called Team Spirit, been 30 years or so, when I was serving in the Navy in the Western Pacific. And I view these exercises where our forces have the opportunity to work side by side and evaluate our combined skills as a key measure of our readiness for any conflict. What we learn from these exercises should inform the structure of our continued security partnership with South Korea. In your view, do current large-scale exercises support shared security goals, including the improved interoperability of U.S. and South Korean forces? And, if confirmed, would you advocate for the resumption of these joint exercises?
Yes, Senator. They're extremely important to build readiness. They're also extremely important to allow that our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Guardians, Coast Guardsmen get an opportunity to work with our ROK allies and see just how good they are. And so at the very low level, the tactical level, it's an opportunity for them to build that trust between each other. And then at the senior level, with turnover and everything else, it's an opportunity for us to exercise and to learn and continue to build on lessons learned.
Do you see any other opportunities to further strengthen our relationship, interoperability relationship, in order to keep pace with any emerging threats?
Yes, Senator. I mean, in my current position, we're going to bring ROK forces to the National Training Center. And so at a much lower level, we can build that interoperability and see it at a small scale, and then, what does it look like at the larger scale? But I think we need to continue to look for those opportunities, whether it's a tabletop exercise or a simulation. But it's that, again, building trust between service members is extremely important.
Yeah, it was invaluable at the time. I remember, doing a simulated, CAS mission on the Korean Peninsula with a U.S. ground FAC and a ROK forces as well. And there is, you don't want to be doing that for the first time when it's real. That's always been clear to me. On another subject, General, when we spoke last week, you mentioned the asymmetric threat posed by the North Korean Special Operations Forces, which adds a complexity to an already unpredictable actor, North Korea. And the North Korean Special Ops Forces, they've got a pretty large force. And as someone who's commanded Special Ops Forces yourself, can you speak to the unique threat that North Korea's sizable Special Operations Forces poses in the unfortunate scenario that we enter into a conflict on the peninsula?
Oh, yes, Senator. First of all, I believe that all warfare is asymmetric. I'm not looking for a fair fight, and I'm fairly certain my adversaries are not. I think my experience in special operations gives me a unique insight into what those threats are and how we could defend against them, and more importantly, how could we take offensive action against them to deter or to prevent them from being able to do any harm.
Any sense for how capable, how well trained they are?
At this time, I do not. I do think that they view their people a little bit different as far as think of it as a fire and forget weapon system. Whereas we plan for withdrawal off a target on a raid, I'm fairly certain that they're not prepared to bring them back.
Well, thank you, General. I look forward to having the opportunity to vote on your confirmation. Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you, Senator Kelly. Senator Tuberville.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, General, for your service.